As soon as Evelyn disappeared, I decided to see how Sally was faring after this latest mishap. I'd no sooner stepped out of my office when a strong breeze tousled my hair. A man in his mid-50s came stumbling toward me. He wore a tan blazer, beneath which his striped shirt hung outside his pants. His clothes were wrinkled and soiled. What's more, one of his shoes was missing. I approached him cautiously and not certain what I was about to say or do. If he was drunk, I needed to find Max. If he was ill, "Can I help you?" I asked when I was a few feet from him. He kept on walking. I stepped aside, afraid that he would run into me, and was grateful when he suddenly halted. Closer, I noticed his eyes darting from side to side. The air current had grown strong enough to turn the pages of a book propped open on a shelf. Is he causing this? "Where am I?" he asked. "In Clover Ridge Library," I said, doing my best to remain calm. "How did I get here?" "I have no idea. I suppose through one of the doors?" As he moved past me, I felt a chill. It was the kind of sensation I felt when Evelyn came too close to me. No, he couldn't be. Please welcome Marilyn Levinson, aka Allison Brook, the author of DEWEY Decimated. I'm so happy to have you here today, Marilyn.
And I'm so happy to be here, Tracy, and have one of our chats.
Yeah. DEWEY Decimated is the 6th book in the Haunted Library Mystery Series. Death Overdue, the first book in that series, was an Agatha nominee. And it was so fun to read it again.
Oh, thank you.
I love the series, and your characters are so vivid and real. And I love watching how they're growing and changing, and how their world is sort of evolving. And Carrie Singleton speaks to ghosts. That's why it's a haunted library mystery.
That's right. Well, there is a ghost in the library, and only Carrie sees her, aside from her Tracey, her little cousin.
Uh-huh.
Now there's a new ghost that has come into the library because the building next door is being renovated to become part of the library. Only this hole was not meant to be. They broke through accidentally. But the reason that there's a ghost is because there was a body that they discovered in the basement.
That's right. And so this dead the dead person turns out to be related to Carrie's fiance, Dylan.
Yes, it's his uncle.
Yeah.
At first, they don't know who it is. And there is this intrepid, in-your-face investigative reporter who seems to have a lot of people researching for her, and she's a good researcher herself. And she finds out that this is Alec Dunmore, who is Dylan's uncle.
Right. So in this book in the series, Carrie Singleton is hard at work with the town council. And they're trying to determine what to do about a swath of public land that's currently a park. And this dead body is found in the building adjacent to the library, and where they're doing some remodeling, or it'll be an addition to the library.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a derelict building. These people owned it, a family owned it, and no one's been using it for anything. And it has a reputation for being cursed because nobody who's lived there or worked there, remember, these buildings are centuries old, and whoever has lived there or worked there has not made a success of the building. So when the body turns up, Carrie is worried that it's cursed.
Yeah. Well, and I can see why, with the ghosts stumbling around in the library now.
Yes, they don't want that because Evelyn knows how to behave herself. First of all, she's only seen by Carrie, and Tacy. And Tacy's getting old. Well, she's in kindergarten, but she's learned to stop asking um, Evelyn if she wants cookies. And she even hides it from her mother. But Evelyn comes and goes, does not disturb anyone. And as you find out later in the book, she's sort of there. She's sort of the guardian angel of Clover Ridge. And she's trying to be helpful to the town, and she helps Carrie solve murders. But this ghost does not know who he is. He's very disruptive. And Carrie and Evelyn they have to work very hard to make sure that he's not disturbing the patrons.
Causing trouble.
Yeah. Who am I? He has no idea who he is. How did I get here? And of course they have to find out how this came about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Evelyn definitely is there to help the lost ghost. And so she is the perfect person to kind of control him, I guess.
Calm him down. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she stays with him, they go up to the attic, or she takes him wherever she knows. Carrie tells her that the room won't be used that day. He will not go back to that building where the men are working. He hated that noise, and that he sort of came awake when they started working in the buildings, because he's been there. His bones have been there, moldering, as they say, 6 or 7 years now.
Right. Yeah. And so it was kind of surprising too that Dylan and his family didn't know what happened to him at all either. So there is definitely a mystery afoot, and a crime to solve as well. So I love the fact that Carrie comes out, so to speak, to her friend Angela, and she tells her that she sees ghosts in this version, in this book. Tell us about that.
Well, Angela is kind of hurt. You didn't share this with me, because she's actually she's not only Carrie's best friend. When Carrie first worked in the library, she was there as just to fill in roles and put shelf books and not doing very much. And Angela was the first person who really befriended her. And they've been through a few mysteries together, and they're very close friends. And her first question is, well, does Dylan know? And when Carrie tells Dylan, they're in a car, and he practically drives the car off into the bushes on the side of the road. And it is kind of shocking to find out that your friend can see ghosts, and that this ghost is, comes and goes in the library. And actually, Angela remembers Evelyn, because Evelyn used to work in the library. She was an aide there.
Yeah. Yeah. So she comes around too. But Carrie still doesn't want everybody knowing about this.
Right. Not everyone would take it very well, right?
No, exactly.
And I mean, and sometimes she wishes that John Mathers, the police chief, who she's very friendly with, would know, because how do you know that? He'd ask her. Because Evelyn, it's not that she has magical powers, but it does seem as if she can tell things about the future, although she really doesn't, or she won't say what she knows. But she knows all the people, having always lived there. So she knows she can give Carrie background information. I mean, she also gives Carrie jobs sometimes. She gives her little chores, little people to go and visit or take care of or solve a problem for them. So it works both ways.
Yeah. So with 6 books in the series, how do you keep going?
Well, yeah, that is a very good question. And I had this feeling that I wanted to end the series after the 8th book. Now, this DEWEY Decimated is the 6th book. I wrote the 7th book, and I'm going over it now. And I'm contracted to write the 8th. And when I told my editor that I'd like to stop it, she said, fine. And the reason I'm doing this is because I love this series. I love my characters, but I feel that by the 8th book, the story arc will have been completed. And I also, I know that most authors don't. I guess they're happy to have as many books as they get contracts for. But I have an idea for another series, and I'm not able to write more than one series at a time. My books are long. They usually run 83,000 words. My plots are complicated. I usually take two elements and have them join. And sometimes it's harder than others to have, to have them meet in a certain way so that it doesn't look really worked or worked on in a difficult way. But I like there to be some meeting of the different plot lines. And so I am concerned with my character's growth. And I do go into Carrie's relationships with her parents. I mean, at length with each book. One book I discuss Carrie's relationship with her father, one with her mother. In this book, I looked into
Dylan's past. Yeah.
Carrie, Carrie was a little concerned. She's marrying Dylan. She loves Dylan. She's getting over the fear of getting married, but she always wonders why Dylan never talks about his parents. He doesn't. He's very happy to adopt her relatives, and then she finds out that of her close relationship with her aunt and uncle that he has. And even he gets very close to her father, who is working in his company. So this is what I mean, that so many things mix together and gel and come together. And at times she's almost jealous, but at the same time, she appreciates it. So in Dewey Decimated, she learns more about the kind of background and the way that Dylan grew up. As it's described in the book, it's kind of benign neglect. His parents, they're wealthy. They shelter him. They make sure he's clothed and everything. But they're more concerned with themselves, making money, doing things as a couple rather than worrying about him.
Yeah.
So, and she also learns about his relationship with his Uncle Alec.
Yeah. Do you draw from real life experiences when you write about people's pasts like that?
I don't know. I don't consciously, let's put it that way. I do see that I have certain themes that I return to. And I think one of them is, believe it or not, romance. And different kinds of relationships that come across, that Carrie encounters. And in this one, it's a funny ending. And Evelyn almost chides her, you just think of yourself as, you think of romance as, you and Dylan or Angela and Steve. There are all kinds of romances. And it's so that's another thing I kind of explore.
Yeah.
So that's the fun thing about writing books, that you can delve into. I mean, my favorite is one of my favorites is relationships, people's relationships, and how they are, how they grow, how different they are one from the other.
Yeah.
And in fact,
that must come in handy when you're writing 8 books in a series.
Yeah. And what's so wonderful is that sometimes you start something in one book, like in book 2, and I think in the second or third book, Angela tells Carrie about her brother. He's really a nasty person. And then that plays a role when Angela gets married in the 5th book, Death on the Shelf.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's almost as if unconsciously you plant something and you come to use it several books later.
Yeah. Do you keep a story Bible or a character Bible or anything like that?
Well, I find that I do keep a list of characters, and I am constantly referring to it because you can't remember all the names. In fact, in Dewey Decimated, I had changed one character's name in midstream. It was a four-letter name. It was, I guess the sound of the vowel was the same in my ear, whatever it was. And Faith, my editor, picked it up. She said, "I hope I've caught them all. Just go look for them."
Yeah.
We will do things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Once I called Smokey Joe Sammy, my cat's name. Yeah.
Oh,
So this does happen.
yeah.
And the other thing you must check and keep track of is when you're I don't care what you write, the days of the week. If I don't keep track of that when I'm writing, it can become a problem because weekends are a little bit different. Like if you're setting something. I mean, she works in the library. She could work on a weekend, but even so, there are certain things that have to be during the week, certain things happen during the weekend. And if you don't keep track,
Of all the events too.
and all the events, and also, just what day, make sure Thursday follows Wednesday, not Sunday,
Yeah.
and if you stop, you're going to get into trouble. So even if you don't mention it, you're lucky. Put it in the text someplace, but be aware of it. So those are the two things I do keep track of.
Yeah.
And also I don't go into so many colors of eyes and this and that, but I do try to keep track of people's last names if they're secondary or tertiary characters,
Right.
what they look like and stuff like that. But many of my characters come back into the mayor is always he even plays a bigger part in every role, it seems, in every book, it seems. And of course there are always new characters. So you're dealing with a lot of
Yeah.
characters.
It's
And
a whole town full of people.
yeah, yeah. And but it's fun when you in this book, I have her go. She needs a dress for her engagement party, and it brings in a character that I had written in the third book, I believe. And it's just nice to have her play a little role, a little cameo role. And it's just fun, to bring in a character because these characters.
Yeah. Yeah. So did you ever work in a library?
No, but I've spent a lot of time in my library. And also, believe it or not, I have a friend, my friend Anne Marie, was pretty much had Carrie's job. And so, in fact, a lot of she was in charge of the food presentations. We really have those. In fact, I've gotten comments, nobody's library is like this. This is not like a real library. And really, many of the things I did take from what we do in the library. Of course, not
Wow.
now, with COVID, but
Right.
yeah, but so many of the things we did do, and other things I make up.
Yeah.
That's the fun thing. Look, you're
Because
writing.
why can't a library have all those community events and things, especially if it's sort of a central community or feature of like a small town.
Exactly. And many librarians who read my series, they identify with it. So I'm not that far off.
Yeah.
Also, in the third book, I bring up the problem, of the homeless who can only stay in their place where they sleep. They can only stay there at night, and they have to find a place to stay during the day. And they go to the library very often. And some of them have mental issues. Some of them are druggies. Some of them just sad and
Yeah. But it's a public building
and it's
too.
a public building, and it is a genuine issue. I mean,
Yeah.
it really is a problem, because on one hand, you want to do right by your patrons, and you want to keep have some quiet
Peace and
noise,
quiet.
no noise. And by the same token, you want to be, they want to be kind to these people who have no place to go. So I found a place for them to go during, where they could go. Of course, it's a bunch of thieves who are setting this up for their own financial gain, but that is dealt with too.
Yeah.
And,
Which
and
book is that?
um, I think it's the third book, buried in the stacks.
Oh,
Yeah. And then of course there's I try to be true to what's going on. So I have Carrie on the town council,
yeah.
and
And that's in this book. Yeah.
and that's in this book. And they have to, and again, I made up this situation. What are they going to do with this property? And then they have votes and this, and it, it's a secondary theme,
Right.
but characters are related to the murder. And
Well,
so
so this all works out.
yeah,
But don't give anything away.
well, not for everyone, it doesn't work out, but
Right.
Some people are murdered, but yeah.
Yeah, don't give it away. Don't give it away.
But it's it's just that her life is, here is this girl who came on the scene like goth girl, with her purple hair, down her earrings down to here, and Doc Martin boots, and and she's given this job. I mean, she does have the credentials, and it's how she changes her life,
Mhm.
given, because she's great. She's lucky that she has some people to help her as well,
Yeah.
but she makes friends. She finds someone to love, and she becomes a very active, responsible member of the community.
Yeah. That's great. So I have one last question. Why did you choose to use a pseudonym?
Mhm. Why did I choose to? Well, first of all, I did not.
Okay.
My publisher asked me to come up with a pseudonym, and I have this little group that I told you about, that we've been together about 20 years, and I made up 5 different names, or 6, and this was Allison Brook was the one we kind of liked the best. So, but my readers, for the most part, know who I am. It's pseudonyms are open secrets. I don't even know why we need them, but that's what
Right.
happened.
I think because the publishing industry wants to put you in a category, and that includes you and your author name, right?
Well, I think they tried to make us new people.
Right.
I think at that time they looked at my other books and they said, they haven't sold very well lately, or I hadn't been promoting them for the longest time.
Yeah.
So no, they hadn't been. And so, but many people in my publishing house have, so many people I know have pseudonyms. So I don't
Right.
know. Everyone knows who they are.
Yeah.
So it's like, the point of it, I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think
Um,
it's mostly for shifting genres. And it's a point I just wanted to bring up for readers who might be wondering why here you are, Marilyn Levinson, and your books are by Allison Brook. So,
yeah, well, I have one. I thought of getting a pseudonym when I started writing mysteries, because I had been published first as a children's author, children's book
mhm,
author, and I decided not to. I said, this is my name and this is what I write, and so I'm not changing my name. But then I had to, so I I don't know, that's the story. I
right,
it wasn't it wasn't my choice, and because I felt I would just use my own name anyway,
right.
but I there I am in the B's, ahead of L. So, you know, but as I said, it doesn't really matter. These
Yeah,
books are these secrets are open secrets, and I mean, some people have 3 three names.
I
And
know. And a lot of the big name authors write other books under other names too.
exactly.
You're right.
You've
It's
chosen it.
no longer a secret.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So tell our viewers where they can find you if they want to reach out or find your books.
Well, my books um are distributed by Penguin Random House, so it's pretty much well, of course, I have an Amazon page, and I have everything together under Marilyn Levinson, including these books,
Mhm.
and Barnes and Noble, any of the big usual sale places to buy them.
Hold it
Oh,
up
thank
again.
you. Oh, and I just got my real hardcover without the errors, as we hope.
Yay.
Yesterday, yeah. So I got my fifth, but as I posted in Facebook, most of these are going out as author giveaways. So I only will have one or two to keep, but
Very exciting.
it is. Something, it's always exciting when you have a new book come out. I don't care how many books, right?
Right. It's
Oh,
so true.
you have a new book coming out. I mean, I
Yes,
just out, and it's very exciting.
it is.
It's a nice feeling. But when you have a series going, it's like
No, you froze. Marilyn froze.
Death on the Shelf. I have here someplace. Um, this is Angela's wedding. Well, it's representing Angela's wedding because, of
Right.
course, the murder at the wedding. This book is on sale actually for $1.99. The Kindle, the ebook is on sale. Again, because it's through Kindle, it's going to be all over on Barnes and Noble, etc. And so this one, you're still promoting the book that came out a few months ago. Then your new book is coming out, DEWEY
Right.
Decimated. And now I've just finished the seventh one, and I'm going over it, and I'll send it to my editor soon. And then I know basically what I'm going to be writing. I know the two themes. With me, it's two themes that are going to be prevalent in the new book. And then I'm even thinking of my new series, which I
Yeah.
started thinking about some time ago. Yeah, so that's going to be fun, a coupling, having all new characters.
Yeah, that'll be really exciting.
Yeah, completely different characters. And I said to my granddaughter, should I have a dog or a cat? So we decided both. Yeah.
Ah, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be looking forward to more books from Allison Brook and Marilyn Levinson in the future. And thank you so much for joining Blackbird Writers today.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you around the internet.
Absolutely, on Facebook and other places.
Yeah.
Bye, Tracy.
Bye.